Let's f***ing roll.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to the SaltyMF Go podcast. We're here in the McBastard studio, FOCO USA. Our guest today, we're really excited to talk to him. He's a world-renowned nutritionist. He was a fitness model, a New York bestseller. I mean, there's nothing the guy has not done. So I'm not going to sit here and litten off everything he's done. But please welcome Mark MacDonald to the show. Mark, good to see you, brother.
Man, Brad, thanks so much, dude. But first off, you have the best beard in all of Georgia, dude. I just want to grab it and kiss it.
Well, a funny story is I didn't grow up with a beard, and during COVID, I grew it, and it was mid-chest. And my wife finally said, "You look ridiculous." So then Michael, my youngest son, who you met,
who's a stud, by the way, who has a mini beard going, he's got taking off his old man right there.
He's going to be the Viking. I think he's going to be he's definitely a lot better looking than I am.
6'4".
Yeah.
We need to show a picture of him.
Yeah, we'll bring him out later. Maybe the ladies can take a look at him. But yeah, so I just grew it, and then my wife convinced me after 2 years, I haven't seen your face in 2 years. You've never had a beard. I want to see your face again. I shaved it off. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had. Yeah. I felt like I had no chin, which my chin was fine. But Michael walks into me. He walks right into my bathroom after I shaved. He looks at me and he goes, "Dad, grow it back. That's ridiculous." So the beard.
I couldn't imagine you without a beard. You look like a beard man, just cool. I'm an outdoors man, so
we're definitely outdoors. We love it. But well, thank you for that comment. We had Wild Willie's on, the beard oil guys. And so they all had pretty good beards. And I asked if I could be a model. They said I wasn't quite ready for it yet. So.
You got to grow it a little bit. Got to pay your dues.
That's right. I need a couple tattoos of anchors or something on my forehead. Then I can do it. So, well, man, we met, I think, over at Brinks TV at a party. And, I thought you were just an awesome guy. And I know you're busy. You've got a lot of new things coming on. But the thing that I'm interested about learning from you is, I was an ex-athlete.
Yeah.
Fitness has always been part of my life. I kind of fell out of love with it and went to about 280 pounds, which is big for me. And I just felt terrible. And I'm like, I'm going to get the discipline to get back in the gym. So to have someone that actually knows about fitness, knows about nutrition, tell the audience, a lot of people will know you because you've been on numerous shows, your book. I love the name of your book, Body Confidence. Mm-hmm. I love it. So I'm going to quit talking because you won't you won't get away.
What sport did you play?
I was a football guy.
What position?
I pretty much everything up until I got later in life. I was a fullback, tight end, defensive end, but linebacker. So I come from a history of linebackers. My dad was an All-American. He was pretty good. So I was a hitter. So that's what I did.
There's so using football, there's three body types. There's ectomorphs, which are like like a road bike.
Yeah.
That built for speed. The wide receiver, the quick running back, that their metabolism moves really fast.
Right.
And then there's a mesomorph, which is like a mountain bike, which and we're both mesomorphs.
Yeah.
We can store fat and muscle.
Yeah.
And that's a tight end linebacker. And then you have the endomorph, which is like a beach cruiser.
Yeah.
And you've ever ridden a beach cruiser to one gear? And that is like an offensive lineman. And
I love the medical terms because people ask me what body type I am. I say I'm kind of like a truck driver or a mountain man.
Yeah, so what happens, you think about road bike, mountain bike, and beach cruiser. Yeah. Because I remember I used this, when I wrote Body Confidence, I used this analogy in the book, and I remember my wife Abbi, because we've been together 30 years. We were in Venice Beach, and just like you, it's like that life. Yeah. And she was riding a beach cruiser, and if you've never ridden a beach cruiser, you can pedal as fast as you want. It's got one gear, and I think that's the problem we have society right now, is that genetically we're born with one of our body types. Yep. It's a part of your brain that tells you to burn calories or store calories, and then the choices we make from every breath we take determines our metabolism. But all three of those bikes can go from Atlanta to California. They can get there. It's just different pace. Yep. So for you, the question I'd have, Brad, is as a linebacker, you were probably working out a lot, burning a lot of calories, never really understood food. Yeah. And the moment your activity stopped is when you went up to 280. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I like food. Yeah. And I like any kind of food. So I've been married. I'll be 33 years this I guess, next year. But same thing, my wife and even my mom growing up, loved me because I ate anything they put in front of them. So they would say they always say if we put water on dog food, you would eat it. So I wasn't a huge drinker, but I drank beer and stuff, and it just got more to the point where I think I was sedentary, right? Like I wasn't in a routine, and I'm not a nutritionist nor give anyone advice on that. But what I found is the discipline of I go to the gym every day, an hour and a half, and just that discipline, keeps me going. I didn't diet. I didn't really diet to lose that weight, but one thing I read about, you were talking about sugar. And the one thing I did when I lost 50 pounds, probably 6 years ago, I cut out any processed sugar. Yeah. I'd be the guy that dumped the whole sugar thing in the coffee.
Yeah.
I love donuts. I love ice cream, but I just cut the sugar out. And I mean, that did it for me. I don't know.
And I mean, that's the key. So like for my story is I was an athlete too. Growing up, I played collegiate and pro soccer. When I finished playing soccer, so I trained like an athlete and ate like an athlete. I remember I was in Cal State Northridge, this is in the 90s, and I'm eating, we trained from 2 to 7. 7 p.m. I go to the dorm. I'm getting pizza, burgers. I'm in a nutrition school right now, and like that's just what I thought. Like I got to replace, and I was still lean and I was still healthy. And then the minute I stopped playing soccer, I kept eating that way, but I stopped training, and I put on 60 pounds. I went from 190 to 250. I
saw your photo.
But check this out.
You're still a stout dude, though. You still look good.
Because what happened is I carry it well, right? So but this is funny. I'm looking in a mirror, and I'm standing there, and my wife now, girlfriend at the time, I think I still have a 6-pack.
Yeah.
I'm 250, and I'm all, babe, I still have a 6-pack. And she said, what are you looking at? It doesn't exist anymore.
It's one. It's just one. It's just one. It's like a beer can.
It was, and that freaked me out. So I grew up with my mom as a chronic dieter, and I saw her go up and down. So I freaked out. I cut all my carbs, cut my calories, went on a keto diet called the ketogenic diet, bodybuilder diet, took my body fat down to 3%, and became the top fitness model in LA, looking amazing and feeling horrible. And for 2 years, food controlled everything I did.
You were svelte, though. I saw the pictures of your mom.
But some of those were after I learned how to eat better. So there was a 4-year fitness modeling, 2 years of deprivation and 2 years of blood sugar balance.
Wow.
The 2 years of deprivation, we've all been there, that pain associated with it. I lived for my cheat day, and then I would be in withdrawal for 3 days, and then I would look forward to my cheat day. And then my wife, girlfriend at the time, came to me and said, I can't take it anymore. Like, you're controlled by your body. And it was like,
well, you were a fitness model. I mean, you were.
But it was food, like at that time, this is where we are right now. Like you see it in the world with keto and fasting and Ozempic and all these BS stuff. Dieting destroys people, destroys your metabolism. And then what I realized is, look, I'm a nutritionist. Why can't you have it all? Why can't you eat the food you love, live with food freedom, and just get a little smarter? And I went back to the basics. And in 97, I started teaching PFC3, protein, fats, carbs, every 3 hours. Not using food to lose weight, but food to create balance. And then we launched our company in Venice Beach, California in 99. And I just started working with the most elite bodies, the best athletes, the best fitness models, teaching them not to deprive and lose that last 10 pounds to be competitive. And then we saw that it worked for everybody. And I think that's why being on your show matters so much, because what you went through, what I went through, what the world is going through, this is the challenge. I think of your son, like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if we can get kids understanding food now, we transform how people look at food.
Exactly. And, I always never, my mom had trouble with weight too, on and off. And so everybody does. It's normal. Like it's not unique. Everyone knows that they struggle with it. But the biggest thing I tell people now, like they'll say, I'll be 55 in December. And they say, well, how are you fit? I'm like, well, I exercise, which I think you need to do some sort.
Movement is life.
You got to move. We're built to move. You got to do some type of exercise. You don't have to be crazy about it. But I think I always tell people, just start, stick with it, try to keep some discipline to it. And it took me a long time to get back down into decent shape again. Years, it did. And I think everyone wants that quick, I'll go on a diet for 30 days, I'll lose 10, but that's not a prolonged approach that's going to be successful. And, I think it's a big problem in the United States, a big problem in the world. The food we eat is processed.
Yes.
Terrible food. We just had the carnivore snacks, guys.
Yeah, best grab and go protein in the world. Yeah,
meat and salt, baby.
That's
meat
it. And clean,
salt.
regenerative farming too.
Yeah.
So all that BS about how eating meat and eating cows is bad for the environment, not with regenerative farming. you get a better carbon response with regenerative farming. So like the reality, if someone's a vegan, you can be plant-based, that's fine. But at the end of the day, to say meat's bad for the environment, it's not if it's done in the right environment.
Yeah. Well, and I agree. There's a lot of psych ops and BS going on, and there's money behind it, right?
Yes.
You know, lab meat does just not sound attractive.
You know Ozempic, you know that product that just came out? Okay, so Ozempic is this hot weight loss drug, okay? And it's used for blood sugar control, and it makes people nauseous and intestinal blockage. It grew 23%, did $12 billion this past year. Let me tell you how it happened. We had Dr. Anna on our show yesterday, great digestive surgeon. So Ozempic was initially created as a blood sugar product for diabetics.
Right.
And then they're losing their exclusivity. You know, the patents run out.
Right.
And then the generic can come.
Right.
So in 10 months ago, they were running out of that. So then they said, let's reposition it as a weight loss drug. Yeah. So they totally deceived people. Everyone's using it. Now it's intestinal blockage, just like fen-phen, just like HCG.
Yeah.
All of this stuff, I think anyone listening right now, winning with your health is about making a decision that you can be a difference maker, that you can understand food. You don't have to suffer. And then understanding that you need to balance your blood sugar, you got to move your body, you need to shift your mindset, and you need to make it a lifestyle. And that's really what this is all about. Exactly what you've done is exactly what the world needs to do.
Right. And I'm like, I didn't study anything. It just, I think your body, it made my wife really mad because she could tell I was losing weight. And she's like, well, how much do you weigh? And I said, I don't know. I'm not getting on scale.
I love you, man. If I didn't have all the mic in front of me, I'd give you a big kiss.
I mean, I was like, I'm not getting on the scale. And I said, I'm going to go till I feel good and my body tells me that it's the right spot. If you listen, I just feel like if you listen to your body, right, and you listen, you know, if you're aching, you're not aching, whatever it may be, and you listen to it, you'll know the right spot you're in. You were talking about the different body types, the 3 different body types. You know, I think what makes people beautiful, I mean, healthy people obviously have a glow to them. They have energy, higher energy. But I mean, I think what makes people beautiful is like, are you comfortable with yourself? And you can't look at, you know, the sports model, or I'm not going to be a sports model. No one wants to see me without a shirt on. I mean, no offense, you know.
I do though, why not?
Oh, if you do the flex. But my point in that is I think people just need to become comfortable with kind of what their body type is, who they are, and, you know, you don't have to sacrifice. If you want to eat a hamburger or whatever, a piece of cake every now and then, that's not going to hurt you if you're doing the right things consistently. That one piece of cake isn't going to kill you, you know? So
what I love about you is like, this is why, so a couple stats, 75% of the adult American population are either overweight or obese. Yeah. Over 50% are either a diabetic or they're insulin resistant. Wow. So that's half of our population. Wow. And kids do what parents do. What you just said is perfect. Why do you need a scale to know if you're healthy? Yeah. You don't. No. Why do you need to look a particular size? Having a flat stomach doesn't make you healthy. No. It's all about that glow. It's about that feeling. Knowing who you are and having that body confidence is why, you know, we started this movement in '99 about blood sugar balance. And, you know, for the last we're 2023 right now. For the last 24 years, I've traveled to 66 countries, 6 continents. I've done media in every country. And it's all been about empowering people to love their food, understand that. Right. And we always talk about what's your body like, what's your mindset, because you're a perfect model because like you've shifted your mindset and now you've made it a lifestyle. Yeah. And then let's say you hurt your knee and you can't work out anymore, it's still not going to derail you because you've done the work on yourself and you're coming in that right place. We need more people like you, Brad.
Well, look, I mean, I'll tell you what, the thing that really hit me is, you know, my wife goes, "Oh, you're going through your midlife crisis." Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to live to be 110, I don't think. So I'm beyond midlife. People start dying around me, you know, parents start dying, friends start dying, and you see their lifestyle and which contributed to why they're dying, you know, younger. And, you know, you kind of got to want to live, right? And it's more or less about, it's not whether it's like, if I get up in the morning and I don't go work out, it's not that I feel bad because no one's telling me to do it. It's just, you know, I know that I'm letting myself down. I need to go do that because I want to live, right? And I don't know if this is true. I want you to confirm this. I heard some guy saying that if you exercised every day, even if they took a smoker that didn't exercise, right, the guy who smoked and exercised would still live longer. Was that true? Have you heard anything about that? And they were talking about just even if you ate a bunch of junk or whatever, but you exercise, they were talking about the lifespan or expectancy of the person that actually did some kind of workout, walking, weights, whatever, actually lived. I don't know if it was BS or not.
I think all studies have a lot of BS to it. So
all right, that crushed me. No smoking, then I can't smoke.
The reality is that every study will be skewed to determine whoever's paying for it. So so you cannot run a bad diet. That's the reality of it. Nutrition's the foundation. Yep. Exercise, movement is life. But smoking, genetically, just what you can get from that. Yeah. But I think what your why matters so much. Like you just talked about your why. Yeah. Like I remember when my dad died in 2016, my best friend. Yeah. To see you and your son, it makes me want to cry because it's like me and my son, and he's 18. And I think so much about when I had 2 lives with my dad. When I was till 18, he was my best friend. But then from 18 on, he had massive ulcers. His stomach got shut down. So he was lean, but he had a gastric bypass, and then he got addicted to pain medication. Yeah. And I watched him suffer for 25 years. And then in 2016, I went into his ICU room with my son, and I sat on his bed, and I knew he was going to die that night. And I'm thinking, like, what if I could have done something to make a difference in his life? What if I could have told him this 25 years ago? And then my why became much stronger because I looked at my son, and I said, I'm never going to let this happen. Now, my son's at 18, and my dad started downgrading when he was 18. So my why is 51 is to be the strongest, healthiest person I can be, to have a conversation with my wife when I come home, to be able to play with my 8-year-old, to be with our son. So I think that's a lot of times we get stuck on the number on the scale, what we look like in the mirror, and we're not really getting to the root of why our health matters. And when you understand that root, well, then it's just getting educated. Yeah. And once you get educated, not buying the dieting stuff or the media, understanding your body, the food you like, and you can live with that food freedom, everything starts to work.
I love it. Yeah, it's funny because you and I have not talked a lot. But it's weird, the coincidence. Like my dad was my best friend as well. Yeah. And I always, with my kids, my wife would always say, you're their dad, you're not their friend. But I grew up with my dad was my friend, right? And so I think that it's important because just back to the life I saw later in life, and it wasn't necessarily because of my dad's food habits or whatever, what happened to me at Lewy body's disease. So, but my point in that is I never wanted to be in a debilitating situation. Yeah. And if you've been around someone that's been in long-term care or in and out of hospitals or in and out of treatments, whether it's alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be, it's a horrific life.
Horrible.
It's horrible. And I don't know why people just don't call it out. It's horrible. It not only ruins their life, it ruins family members around them, wives, husbands, kids, whatever. And so I think, to your point, I want to be that guy that's 90 and old and acting like an idiot or a moron doing crazy stuff with my kids. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're physical. Your health is everything.
Yes.
Money's great, relationships are great, but if you don't have your health, you're in deep trouble.
You have nothing. There's when you think about life, there's only one thing you can really control in life is how you choose to take care of yourself. That's it. And then everything else will happen from there. I mean, us, like, we're outliers, man. Like, Brad, I don't know if you know our story, but we moved out of our house July 1st. Our son Hunter got married. He's traveled the world with me, got married. They're in their own apartment. He's going to play pro soccer.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Then we went, my wife, Abbi, myself, and Hope, we've been on the road for now almost 100 days, just in our motorhome. We got flat to the Jeep. We've been everywhere. We're just at Disney for 6 weeks. I did our TV show from our own back tent with our own.
I saw. So I didn't know if you were just camping or what.
All of this, but we're on the road for another 100 days. We just live life on our terms, and I think if people understand that if you make your health a priority and you should wake up feeling good every day, and you should go to bed feeling good every day. Right. And if you do that, life is amazing.
And do it for yourself.
Yes, nobody else.
It's not selfish. Your health is not selfish, right? And I was always, I put my exercise routine, I do it first every day. I don't care what time it is. I'm going to the gym. I don't care. I'm going to go to the gym because it's the most important thing. But I think people are really concerned outside of just the fitness side or nutrition side. They're concerned about what everyone else thinks, right? Or what this guy's doing or this person does or where they live or what house they have. They don't care. No one cares anyway. So, do what's right for you. Do your job, your routine, your health routine, whatever it may be. And I think people get too caught up in trends. And you were talking about trends, health trends, dieting. I think this whole dieting thing has just been diabolical to people.
It destroys your metabolism.
And it goes up and down. I mean, you feel like you're doing great and whatever, and you know there's a time you're going to crash, and you can't be on that diet forever. And then you hit that kind of depression. It's almost like schizophrenia. It's up, down, or manic maybe. And I think that people they have to find what works for them. So what would be, there's so much I want to talk to you, and I could be here for 15 hours. So I'm going to try to be just everyday people, not an ex-athlete, not everyday people. Like, what are just some basic 1, 2, 3, do this and you can improve your life?
So the first thing before we get to the 1, 2, 3 is just why dieting fails people.
Yes.
So this is the key. We talked about those 3 types of body types. Right. So I'll get a little scientific in a fun way.
That's fine.
And the part of your brain is called the hypothalamus. It's something called your weight regulating mechanism. You're born with this. All it means is like a thermostat in this room. That if this room is set at 70 degrees, the studio, a heater would come on if it got below 70, an AC if it got above 70. Your body works the same way. It burns and stores calories based on that set point.
Right.
Now, when you diet, you cut, you restrict, you feel a little bit better, so you lose weight initially, you drop to your set point, but because you're restricting, you're burning muscle.
Yep.
And then you reintroduce stuff. People, hey, you look good, and now we're using that dopamine influx, all of those things. So now people start eating back to what they were doing before. They never made any real changes. They regain all the weight, and then they're a little heavier. That set point just got a little bit higher and a little bit higher. This is why when you turn 40, 50, and 60, you feel like my metabolism is shut down.
Right.
It's all of those traits because you're actually doing that. So dieting will always fail you. Restriction, deprivation, that concept, taking out carbohydrates, none of it is. So the first thing to realize is that the past of just restriction and dieting will always fail you. You have to first accept that. You have to say, okay, I'm not gonna do fasting. I'm not gonna keto. I'm not gonna take drugs. Right. I'm gonna just let go of that and actually start a new future on it.
Right.
The second thing is you just gotta eat smarter. Yeah. So there's 3 macronutrients. So think of a baby. You have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Baby feeds every 3 to 4 hours. Yep. Has a balance.
I have a granddaughter, new one, so I'm going through that again. Yeah.
So right there, so feeding every 3 to 4 hours.
Yep.
Has protein, fats, carbohydrates, and breast milk or formula. Yep. Stops eating when they're satisfied, eats again when they're hungry. Yep. So the first year of life, that's how a baby feeds. Why would we ever stop eating that way? That's our body's energy source.
Right.
So when you talk about protein, fats, and carbs, there's only 3 nutrients that make energy. Protein, your beef, your chicken, your fish. Byproduct would be your eggs, milk, cheese. And then plant-based would be like a quinoa or pea protein or hemp protein. Protein controls this blood sugar hormone called glucagon. Carbs affect insulin. Right. So the second thing is every meal has to have protein. So the first thing is you got to get low of the past. The second thing is every meal needs protein.
Right.
The third thing is after you have protein, you want to add a fat, which could be peanut butter, nuts, seeds, and then that slows down digestion, and then you add your carbohydrates. When you eat your protein first with your fat, and then you have a carbohydrate, your fruits, your vegetables, quinoa, brown rice, pasta, now you balance your blood sugar. Yeah. When your blood sugar is balanced, you release your stored fat, you protect your muscle, and you age with power. So let go of the past, focus on protein, add your fat and your carbs. Those are the 3 simple steps to start doing.
I mean, and you just articulated that, very clearly. So it's not difficult. So protein can be chicken, beef, eggs, whatever it may be. I mean, it's not, I think, is it because we all think we're so busy and we're running around and I got to be here, I got to do this. Is it just that we don't take the time? Why do you think so many people can't follow that simple?
I look at it like this. So this is my water bottle. So it's full. Yeah. If I add more water to it, I spill over. So what happens with people is we call it your quadrant. You have your health, profession, lifestyle, and relationships. Right. When people want to get healthy, they put all into their health. Yeah. They neglect the other things. Right. They achieve a goal, and then all those things push back. Yep. The reality is that we have to just accept, like you made a decision, that your health is a priority. Yeah. And when you make yourself a priority, everything in your life gets better. Yep. So people fall off because they never really commit to their health. They'll work. Like, think about this. In life, being a parent is the hardest thing you can do. Yep. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Right.
Being married, like you see all these people. I met my wife in 1993. I saw her in school. I said, that's the girl I'm going to marry. And we've been together for 30 years. You've been together 33. Yeah. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Right.
People don't look at their health like that. If you look at your health as it's the key to your life, it's a key to you being the person you want to be, people would then put the work into it. They don't want to put the work into it, so they just think a quick fix will do that. Quick fixes will always fail you.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I think it's you almost. I mean, it's a lot of it's psychological too. You have to accept yourself. Like, I've not really changed since I was.
Yeah,
you know, my personality is the same personality I've had since I was a kid, right? And nothing's going to change that. When I get to a certain point, I fall back on my silliness, goofiness, whatever. It's just who you are. I think a lot of people psychologically just have to also accept, you know, don't try to be something else.
Yeah,
be something that, you know, that you're proud of, but don't try to be what Mark has or what Brad has or Susan or whatever it may be. And I think there's a lot of psychology that drives diet and behavior on what they see they think society should be or what you should be doing. And a lot of it's bullshit.
It's all bullshit. Yeah. When I think about it, we started in '99. We built out nutrition practices. We then built a whole global movement or national movement. And then in 2011, Body Confidence exploded to a #1 bestseller.
Yeah.
And then that brought me into being CNN's nutritionist, being HLN's nutritionist. I became recruited on Dr. Oz.
Yep,
but it also got me into the world of network marketing, where I traveled to 66 countries, 6 continents, teaching blood sugar.
Yeah.
Helped millions of people. The one thing I saw is what you said. I would teach the body. We talk about 6 components. We always talk about your food, your movement, your sleep, your hydration. You talk about from a stress perspective, winning with that. But then from a mindset side, there's always that rub. This is why, like, one of our great partners is Carrie Lopoli, who's co-hosts the show with me, our NIL House Nutrition, because Carrie's a mindset guru. So, like, bringing in body with the mindset, so you actually make behavioral changes, and then you make it part of your lifestyle. That's how you truly make this a way of life.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's great advice. I mean, like, literally, you know, I was reading you've coached personally. I mean, you were a coach too. I mean, you coach.
Yeah,
people.
Still coach.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what to me of value.
In the trenches, always.
Yeah. Well, that's valuable too, right? I mean, you're obviously you know nutrition and you're smart in that instance. But when I saw that you coached over 40,000 people, I mean, that's amazing. I coached sports, little league sports for 22 years, and coaching was. I mean, it's just kind of becomes who you are. But so the three things we like, just an average person. Now, I'm overweight, or I feel I'm overweight, right? I'm starting tomorrow. We talked about the diet, what you should do with the proteins and how to eat that. What else from a psychological perspective do you think, like, to get people prepared for the discipline, the long term? And it is discipline, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's discipline. When people want to sugarcoat it, you got to get up and move. You got to go outside and walk. You got to ride that bike. You got to swim.
I think the 3 things after you've addressed that is, you know, I love what I love about SaltyMF, like what I love about, like, the story about what you're doing, as I did research before and I got knowing you, is that you want to celebrate outliers in the world. Yeah. People want to make a difference. So the funny thing about me is I always talk about 1%. Now, that 1% means everything to me.
Right.
So the first step is your mindset of understanding to improve your health 1% a day. That could be waking up and having a protein shake. Yeah. That could be walking 5 minutes. But if you can adopt that mindset that I'm going to get 1% better, it takes the pressure off. And for me, it's personal, because when I was 7 years old, I couldn't speak, couldn't form words. I remember coming home from first grade, and my parents were there, and they wanted to hold me back. And my tongue, like, I thought I had a speaking challenge that I thought what I was saying was there. So if we're here and I say banana, it sounds like banana to me, but it's gibberish to you. So,
you weren't adopted, were you? You weren't like a twin, were you?
No.
Is that you? I had a speech impediment, yeah, and I had to get a speech therapy until I think I was in 6th or 7th grade, and it made me so mad. I had to, you know, I would spit when I got mad at people, or I get excited. So, anyways,
I'm saying so. That's why that's why it's these pain moments define us, and that was a defining moment for me. I cried to my parents because there's only 3 people in my class that understood me. Yeah. And I said, I'll do anything. So they fought for me to get into 2nd grade. They got me into speech therapy for the next 5 years. And my dad did something that changed my life, that's helped now millions of people. He took a big 1% banner and put it on my room door. And he said, listen, awesome. You're going to have tough days. You're going to want to quit, but you can get better 1% at a time. You just got to believe. And then I did that, and I did 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, and I still have a speech challenge. So even on this podcast,
oh, I have it too. Mine will come out too.
Yeah, when we get tired. So we've now gone all around the world, like we speak, but we do this. So this 1%, like right now someone's saying it's too much, I don't have time. You can get there. Imagine 1% for 100 days, you get to 100%. 1% change. Imagine 1% for 365 days. That compound effect is everything. So you do 1%. The second thing is you got to move. I love what you did. Once you understand food, you just got to move. Find movement that you like. You don't have to run a race. Just start walking. Just find things that you enjoy from that. And number 3, lock arms with someone. Community makes people do more things.
Yeah, that's true.
And you get 3 times better results when you live your health with another person.
Yeah. I think it's funny because you say community, because a lot of people, I've been going to the same gym for a while, and you like know everybody, right? And whatever. And people ask me, well, is that weird? I'm like, no, you have a common interest there.
Yeah.
You're all there trying to better yourself, do whatever. So you're there for the person. You're rooting for them. Hey, you look good, bud. Hey, you look great. You whatever. And so I do think that community side, definitely, if you're getting back in, and it could be walking or hiking or whatever you want to do. Playing pickleball, that's a big thing now. But that I think
definitely for John Brankus.
Yeah. My neighbor, he's a lot older than me. Hal out there, I don't want to call you out, but you were talking shit.
Hal,
and you said you could take me, and I told you I was a pretty good athlete. So he hasn't asked me. He hasn't asked me to come back. So Hal, when's my next?
Come on, Hal. You can't do that. You can't talk shit and then actually back off.
He's amazing. He's 78. He's amazing.
SaltyMF.
The fact that he challenged me, I loved it. So he's amazing. If I wouldn't have had to run him, he would have been fine. But I figured out the angles. So Hal, you're a good man, bud. I love you. But well, I'm really excited. Like anything else, I know that you've started, since we've talked about Brankus and the pickleball. I know that you have the NIL House Nutrition Show now on Brinks TV, and that's been going for probably 4 or 5 months, maybe. And I'm excited about it. I've watched a couple of those shows. We have our SaltyMF Player of the Week on there. Tell everybody about that. And for people who know you, they've probably read your books and keep up with you. But the younger generation maybe not. It's like John out there. These 18-year-olds don't remember that sports science stuff. So. Just a nudge at John, but so tell us about that show, why you're excited about it, and what that means to you, and kind of your next step, and educating everybody.
I mean, for us, so a year ago we walked away from all spokesperson deals. So I've had a really good career. I've been fortunate to help people, but I traveled the world and I launched movements with companies, and then companies merge. And we had a great movement, and a company merged, and they wanted me to be the spokesperson. And I want to go through a merger again, so I said, "Let's settle." And it was a gut-wrenching decision for me because I felt like I was leaving a lot of people. We built a global movement, but I made a choice. I fought for the time. I didn't want to miss any more time with Hope because she couldn't travel all the time with me anymore. Our daughter, our 8-year-old, and then I wanted to be with Abbi more. So a year ago, we said no. We formed our PSC3 movement. MyPSC3.com. That's been our movement, but we partnered with Carrie to launch Body, Mind, Lifestyle. So we're already on this trend, and we have this army, 25,000 nutritionists around the world who teach our stuff. But then Rob Vaca, who's partner with John Brankus, is a dear friend of mine. We coached, our sons played together in sports and stuff. And Rob said, "Hey, are you ready to meet John?" And they reached out maybe 3 different times.
Right.
And I said, "I think we're ready now." I walked away from my deals. I'm ready to do this. I had a few TV deals before that offered, but it was never on our terms. The one thing that I've realized, I want life on my terms that allow us to really teach people how to love their food, live with food freedom. So I met with Brinks. John, what they've built is really a combination. It's the coolest thing for a creator like me, in the sense of that it's like a combo of YouTube, infomercial, and mainstream media. And they said, you can have your own show. We can do it together. And we can and you can say whatever you want. And then I said, okay. And then we started building out. We called it the NIL House Nutrition, the epicenter for all things nutrition. Brought on Sue Hitzman from the Melt Method, Dan Miller does Uncaged, Rex Crane, performance coach. Carrie's my co-host, my partner in PFC3. My wife Abbi does Abbi's Tips and Tricks. We brought on Dr. Fabian Morales, who's a sports medicine doctor, Dr. Anna Toker. So I brought on really the top 10 health pros around the world to really be the source of reason for nutrition. So all the youngins out there right now, We call it the epicenter for nutrition because we want to do that. And then we only bring, it's the other thing, when I was doing Dr. Oz and all these other shows, man, I could do a segment and then Coca-Cola comes up. Like, I'm not against food, but if I'm doing a show, I'm controlling what the messaging and the brand is.
Right.
So we partner with Carnivore Snacks, Super Patch, Cold Plunge, Power Crunch, products because I love products.
Yeah.
Food first, products to fill your gap, but cutting edge products that make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's why we launched NIL House Nutrition. Now it's the #1 most watched nutrition show in the world.
That's
and
awesome.
we're just having fun together. But it's all, we call it the epicenter. Because to win with your health, you need a 360-degree support system. Yeah. And we have that with our digital programs, with our coaching programs, with our TV show. So so the partnership with Brinks has been amazing because it really was a final piece to give us this full support system that we want.
Yeah, and I feel the same about them. We kind of stumbled into it, so I can't say we had as much thought into it, but the people are good people and trustworthy people, and I like, platforms today where people are getting canceled. It's very important for you to be able to be truthful, and be trusted. And I haven't known you a long time, but I can tell you're genuine and you can trust what you're doing, and you live the way you say. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to talk to someone telling you about nutrition and they're 400 pounds and they intellectually understand about it, but they don't practice it. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to more of that. We need to come up with a SaltyMF product line. I think maybe salty nuts. That would be a good.
Let's do it. Let's do it right there.
That'd be a good brand. Everybody that's good.
I love salty. I'm all in.
We'll do the salty.
We have a product company. We're all in. We're about to launch a digestive product. So I'm like, I'm on.
Let's talk.
We'll collab. I think that's the key. Partnerships is that what I've seen with Brinks. And what John did, it's all about partnerships. When I think about the partnership that we did with Carrie Lipoli, with Dr. Ant, like all of these things, it's all partnerships. Partnerships allow you to grow because I think that there's two ways to look at world: law of scarcity, a law of abundance. Yep. There's too many people who just try to grab everything. Yep. But if you can understand the law of abundance, that's how you grow. Yeah. And that's the same thing with food. I love that. Like if you want to go to hamburger, go eat it. It's not about that you can eat anything. It's just understanding how to balance your body and make decisions that allow you to live your best health.
Yeah, and I think, moderation. I think, I'm the kind of guy, I'd eat, 3 bowls of spaghetti or a plate of spaghetti. I like spaghetti. I think it's just like, it's moderation too. There's a point like, I'm full and this is awesome on my palate and I want to eat 5 more plates. But I probably don't need to. You know,
a lot of people do that too because they skip meals. So when you skip mid-morning, mid-night, every time you're starving, you have low
you've
blood
called
sugar.
me out. You know what I'm doing.
That's what happens. So when you do that, every time you skip meal, you burn muscle, and then that makes you overeat. So what happens, like the one issue that may happen is if you do get hurt and you can't work out an hour and a half, and you skip meals, you'll then start overeating. Yeah. But if you can hit those mid-morning, that's why Carnivore Snacks is so good. Yeah. Or a Power Crunch bar. We call it like your mobile readiness food kit or your PFC3 mobile kit. You put a protein bar or you put like a grab and go, those in between, makes you eat less at lunch, eat less at dinner, and that balances you out. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Common sense. Somebody with common sense and knows what they're talking about. That's awesome.
Protein, fats, carbs. That's 3 nutrients that provide energy.
Well, like on your books or anything, like where can more people, obviously if you want to see the NIL House Nutrition Show, you can sign up at Brinks TV. Brinks TV. And so it's free account. You get in. You guys are running episodes. Is it weekly? Yeah, we do 3 new episodes a week, and then we do 2 best of. Yeah, good. So Monday through Friday, but it airs all the time. You can watch all, and we have just great content from that side. And it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing, and you have so many years of content from what you've done in the past. Well, and we're able to build off. Like, if they want to find out more about the program, go to mypfc3.com. That and my site, Mark MacDonald TV. MacDonald, I'm a Scot, not Irish. Yeah, that's right. But well, this is the McBastard studio. I'll tell you that story. Okay, I love that is in a little bit, but Irish-ish. So Irish and Scots. Okay, we'll love each other a little bit. Well, I don't know what I'm a bastard. So I found out I was adopted a year ago, and so in that whole process, I told my kid after 53 years. So in that whole process, how did that happen? Well, it's a long story, but Ancestry.com when they take your genealogy and stuff, they will find something whether you want it or not. So it was a long story. But my kid was doing some research and found out that, it kind of just popped up. But when I got all my kids together, I said, in lieu of all this new information, I'm changing our last name from Banyas to the McBastards. And so that's why this is called the McBastard Studio.
I love it.
So we're mutts, but it's all good. Everything's good. We'll have to do another podcast on that.
I want to find out about that story.
Yeah, we'll have to tell that story. I did a podcast on that. So not this podcast, but with another company, and I'll shoot you that. But we'll have to come on and talk that. I want to have. We're thinking about having a McBastards line of clothing, just so that hey, you're not alone out there. There's a lot of us, and it's all good. It's all good. We're unique.
I'll wear that. I love that,
the
man.
McBastards tee. So. Well, I mean, I've had a lot of fun. I like to have you back.
Yeah,
definitely on. And I have a friend from Boston. I lived in Boston. My dad got transferred from Boston about when we were in 4th grade. So we lived up there 5 years, and I just had a great group of friends when we came back to Atlanta. And so when we started this whole Salty stuff up, they started reaching out, and they were wearing our stuff and helped promoting it up in the Boston area. And I have a good buddy out there, Scott Foley. This is for you.
Scott Foley.
So Scott's out on the road like 180 days, and he travels all around. And so we have a little segment every now and then. We'll say On the Road with Scott Foley, like what he's doing. So I'd love to check in with you, where you're at, what you're doing.
Always.
Just give a tip. We'll roll it in, and we're all about. I believe in what you're doing. I think it's awesome. It's a great cause. What I really like about you, to be honest with you, I love how you show your love for your wife and that relationship and your kids, and that's really important in today's society with everybody kind of breaking off and doing their own thing. It's very honorable, and yeah, marriage is not easy, honey. Sorry, it's not.
It's not, Abby, but it's worth it.
It's not, but I think that shows. I mean, life is what you make it.
Yeah.
And if you look at life in a positive nature, even when shit happens, hey, we're all going to die. Bad shit's going to happen to you. But attitude is definitely everything.
I think marriage is all about growing together. And people, the divorce rate is so high because people aren't committed to the long term.
Yep.
We're stronger than we've ever been. Marriage is all about becoming, compromising, becoming something with someone and creating a life together. And if people would understand that, it's worth it. And it's all about empowering one another. And I just think that we have to do that. Families like ours have to empower other families. And that's why our son getting married at 18 was amazing.
Yeah.
Because he's going for life. He wants to play pro soccer. So they live together. They're doing his own little entrepreneur. I love, that's what life's all about. Inspiring people to love on one another and see the greatness of partnership.
Right. And there is no, I was married very young as well. So there is no ultimate time in life to do what you want to do. Yeah. So I don't care if you're 17, 18, 55, you start, me and my partner, Paul Chandra, he's kind of behind the scenes in Salty, but he's just as important, Uncle Paulie. Do it.
Yeah.
Just
Go
do
for it. And
I mean, don't wait. And, everyone's, when I save my money, I'm going to travel around. When I'm retired, I'm going to travel around. No, if you can do it now. Don't wait.
And that was two types of people when they found out Hunter got married. We had entrepreneurs saying, best thing ever, go for it. And then you had the non-entrepreneurs, the employee mindset of, too young, watch this, all the worry stuff. Who cares? Yeah. Live your life, go for it, make mistakes, and have fun.
Exactly. And for the naysayers, my old buddy used to do this.
Hold on, I got something better. This is Hope's new shirt right here. There we go, baby.
There we go. We love America.
There we go. This is how you raise 8-year-olds right here.
Hey, kudos to anybody doing what they believe in, because like I said, there's very few people that care what you're doing, but those who do care about you and are willing to help you, true loyal friends, stick with you for your whole life. Well, Mark, it's been awesome, brother.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
I really appreciate you coming on, man.
I'm a SaltyMF fan.
You are.
We got to bring you on the show. So the next thing is you're going to come on our show.
Right.
We're going to tell your story. I want to bring on your son.
Okay.
Because he's we'll bring on both our sons.
Yeah, let's do it.
They're both like 18. Tarzan.
Yeah.
And they're like Tarzan.
Yeah, they're like, they look like Thor.
And I think we talk about families working out together, living together.
Let's do it.
So we're done deal.
Okay. I would love that. He would love that too. I mean, and
Michael, you're coming. I don't know where you are. You're coming.
But he was so excited that he goes, I want to learn something. So Well, hey, Salty Nation out there, you've been listening to Mark MacDonald. I don't need to tell his credentials. Get out there and look at it. Check him out on Brinks TV, the NIL House Nutrition Show. You can see shows every week. He's a good guy, good person. It's the kind of people we like. Until next week, let's go.
Let's go.